Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let us learn one more interesting service in AWS. So before that, let's move on with the need. What is the need to read about the service? So previously we have read about Amazon Redshift, right? So in order to use the Amazon Redshift, do you need these clusters? Yes. We need to maintain these clusters, right? Yes. So we need to concentrate some more on backend infrastructure. If we need to, if we wish to run Redshift, then we need to focus on our Redshift architecture as well. Yes, yeah. We need to focus on data distribution style as well, and commands and data management. Everything we need to focus. If we choose this Redshift, we also need to take care about the roles which are attached to this Redshift and what is the how to provide a fast query response. So these are all things we need to concentrate whenever we use Redshift, right? Yeah. So now I'm having a need. I'm having a need that I don't want to concentrate much on this maintaining architecture, maintaining data, or data related thing, that is a distribution styles. I don't want to concentrate more on Redshift architecture or Redshift. Now I just want to concentrate on my user data and process that user data and get the response faster. Now, is there any service available in AWS? Same like AWS Lambda, we have easy to write. There we need to provide underlying infrastructure, and then only we can able to run our application or run our piece of code. Whereas Lambda provides me a flexibility to run a piece of code by simply providing that code and running that code by specifying a very less configurations. There in Lambda, we don't even need to provide underlying infrastructure. So like that, is there any service in AWS where that service provide me the whole underlying infrastructure related to Redshift, and I just want to run, I just want to run my code. I just want to save my code and I just want to query my code. I just want to perform some analysis operations and I just want to focus on that data. So is there any service available in AWS where it can provide me that flexibility to save that code in that database and query that code and analyze that code? Yes, the answer for this is yes. That service is Redshift Serverless. What is that service? Redshift Serverless. What is this Redshift Serverless? This Redshift Serverless is a service where it provides us an ability to run Redshift without even needed to provide or manage any underlying infrastructure of our Redshift cluster. Let's say I have a lot of demand is increased. Now, does this AWS Redshift serverless scales automatically for me? Yes. Based on varying levels of your demand, this Redshift serverless will scales automatically. Here also, same like Lambda, you only you only pay for storage and compute. You only pay for what storage you use and what compute you use, or else how much storage you use and how much compute you use. So for these two things only you will pay. Here also it's same like Lambda. So if you compare Lambda and EC2, Lambda is a serverless service where it can provide you compute instead of EC2. EC2 is a server based service where we need to maintain infrastructure, backend infrastructure for EC2. So here also, if we compare AWS Redshift Serverless and AWS Redshift, in Redshift Serverless, we don't need to manage any underlying infrastructure because AWS will provide me all those underlying infrastructure. AWS Redshift Serverless is a serverless service. We just need to pay for our storage and how much compute that we use. So it will scales automatically for me based on my demand and requirement. Coming to Redshift, I need to provide the backend infrastructure of it. I need to scale that. I need to manage the infrastructure. Everything will be taken care by me under Redshift. Whereas in Redshift serverless, AWS will take care everything about underlying infrastructure for me. So it provides me more flexibility to focus more on my data and my data analysis. Let's say I have already created a Redshift cluster. Now I am expecting to move my Redshift cluster to Redshift serverless. So can I able to move? Yes, we can able to move by using snapshots. So first take a snapshot and then simply restore your Redshift serverless by using that snapshot. By using that snapshot, you can restore your serverless. So simply take the snapshot of what are the Redshift cluster you have, and by using that snapshot, just recreate or restore your Redshift serverless. Then you can able to get your data into your Redshift serverless. Let's see some real-time use case scenarios. So when do we use this Redshift serverless? So whenever you are developing, whenever you're developing any database, whenever you are utilizing a database for development environments, for development environments, for development environments, and for test environments, testing environments, for development and testing environments, this Redshift serverless is highly suitable. Even you can say short-term workloads. For short-term workloads, you can choose this Redshift serverless. Even for temporary workloads also, you choose this Redshift serverless as your database. So what are the real-time use case scenarios? While testing and development environments, you can choose this Redshift serverless as your database. Or else for short-term workloads or temporary workloads, you can choose this Redshift serverless as your database. For every new AWS root account, AWS will provide a $300 free credit amount for this AWS Redshift serverless service. So for every new AWS account, new root account, this AWS provides you $300 free credit amount for you for utilizing this Redshift serverless. So if you are using a new account, if you have created a new account, then test ride this. Same like car, you can test ride this Redshift serverless and use this serverless so that you can able to get some idea on it. So if we see about storage of this Redshift serverless, this will store the data in RMS. What is this RMS? RMS is nothing but Redshift managed storage. So RMS is nothing but Redshift managed storage, where it supports up to petabytes of data, up to petabytes of data storage. This RMS supports up to petabytes of data storage. So based on your storage, it will automatically increase. So coming to compute. So how this Redshift will provide the compute, sir? This Redshift will provide the compute in the form of RPUs. So what is RPU, sir? RPU stands for Redshift Processing Unit. What is this? Redshift Processing Units. Okay. So for one RPU, by using one RPU, how much amount of storage can we process? How much amount of storage can we process? We can able to process 16 GB of memory. By using one RPU, we can able to process 16 GB of memory. Okay. By default, Redshift automatically provides you a base capacity of 128 RPU. By default, Redshift already set the compute capacity as 128 RPU. So by default, how much capacity is provided by Redshift serverless to you for processing your data warehouse? 128 RPU. What is this data warehouse? This is nothing but your Redshift data. So whatever the data that you store under Redshift, we call that as Redshift data warehouse. Okay. So can I vary this? This 128 RPU will only process my data up to terabytes, right? Yes. This 128 RPU will process some terabytes of memory only. So in order to process up to petabytes of storage, can I able to change this capacity? Yes, we can able to set up capacity, RPU capacity. We can able to set the RPU capacity between 8 to 512 RPUs. Up to 512 RPUs, we can able to set up from 8 to 512 RPUs, you can able to set up. So by setting whatever the RPU, based on that, you can able to process your data warehouses. So consider your data warehouse and calculate how much RPUs you require. Let's say in my data warehouse, I have 16 GB. Then one RPU is sufficient for me. Let's say in my data warehouse, I stored 48 GB. So now how much RPUs do I require? 3 RPUs I require, because if I provide 3 RPUs, then what happens? This 3 RPUs can able to support for 16 into 3 GB of memory. That is nothing but 48 GB of memory. These 3 RPUs can able to process. Like this, you have to calculate based on how much amount of storage, database storage that you storing. So based on that, you have to provide your number of RPUs. You can have to set your RPUs between 8 to 512 RPUs. This AWS provides you that flexibility to set up your RPUs based on your requirement, right? Yeah. So let's say about billing. Now for storage, do you need to be charged? Yes, you will be charged for storage where you are storing under RMS, right? So for this RMS storage, you will be charged per every month. Per every month. Per GB, you will be charged on gigabytes per month. So based on amount of storage that you store, based on how much GB that you store, based on that you will be charged per month by a fixed rate. You will be charged per month based on how much GB that you store for every month for a fixed rate. So for compute, do you need to be charged? Yes, you will be charged for compute as well. So once you run your query will run until the query will reach to any one of the state. The end states are completed state, rollback state, or stopped state. So whenever your query reaches to any one of the state, then it will be stopped, right? Yeah. So until then, your query was processed. So for processing, what do you require? RPUs, right? So for these RPUs, you will be charged. For these RPUs, you will be charged per hour. You can even assume these as you are billed per second. You are billed per second. So while running your queries, you will be charged a fixed amount per RPUs per hour. Per RPUs per hour. You will be charged per RPUs per hour whenever your query is running. That is, you can assume like billing happens per every second. So is there any best recommendation to minimize this compute billing? Yes, there is a recommendation for you. Two types of recommendation. First one is you can control this billing by setting the RPU's max limit capacity, or else you can set the max number of hours this RPU will run. So these are the two ways where you can able to control your processing cost. That is by setting max RPU capacity or max RPU hours you want to consume, or else you want to consume per day, max RPU hours you want to consume per day, or max RPU hours you want to consume per week, or else max RPU power you want to consume per month. So like this, you can able to control this compute power as well. So this is about the billing of this Redshift serverless service. Let's see how to create AWS Redshift serverless database service for a data warehouse by using AWS Management Console. So if your account is new account, then you can see here a $300 credit is there for your account to use. So like this, you can see now, since my account is a new account, you can see this will be like this. Now I just want to try to create a Redshift serverless. So I clicked here. So whenever I clicked here, my page is redirected to. So your page will be redirected to here. Here you can see it was asking for configurations. If you want to choose default configuration or customized settings. Under the default configurations, you can see the target name, the targeted database created name, and your database name and your credentials will be already configured under the default settings. Since I am learning, since I'm on the learning stage, so I'd like to click on customize settings so that I can able to provide you much more detail about each and every setting, and even I can able to configure each and every setting in the customized setting. So I'm clicking on customized setting. You can see here, if I select customized settings, I have an option to edit this target name. This target name is a unique name to identify my database, that is a Amazon Redshift Serverless Database that I am going to create. And next you can see database name and password. Here you can able to edit the database name, and even you can able to provide your customized password. By clicking here you can able to provide your customized password. So now I'm just moving on with whatever the available target name and password, and I just like to scroll it up. Here under associated IAM roles, now no associated IAM roles are visible here by default. So we need to attach some IAM roles to it so that those roles can allow me to load my data to this serverless Amazon Redshift serverless, and those IAM roles only can allow me to query the data, right? Yes. So to process the data and to load the data, we need to provide some IAM roles here. So currently it's a demo video, so I'm not providing any IAM roles attaching here. So I'm just rolling it up. You can see next tab is about service, security and encryption. By default, your data is secured or encrypted by using AWS owned key. If you want to provide your own customized key, then click here, then enable this. Then you can able to provide your key so that your data will be encrypted based on the key that you provided. Currently for this demo, I don't like to provide any customized key, so I'm just moving on with the next. That is audit logging. You can able to audit whatever the logins that were made by using users or connection logs or user activity logs by just clicking here. By just clicking here, it will be enabled, and you can able to export your logs to CloudWatch. You can able to watch those logs there. You can see after this we are having workload group. So let me scroll it up so that it will be clearly visible to you. So now you can see under work group, you have work group name. You can even change this to identify a particular work group. And so while explaining about Redshift serverless, we have already explained you about this base capacity. By default, it will be 128 RPUs. You can even set in between 8 to 512. So now I am putting it same as it is. Now you can see under networking and security, you can even set up under which network, under which VPC you want to put your serverless Redshift, and in which VPC security group you want to put, and in which subnet group you want to put. So if you have any particular preferences, then you can able to move on with them, or else you can move on with the default settings. So now I'm just scrolling it up. So at last, after the subnet, you can see enhanced VPC routing. If you're turning on this option, then your traffic will goes between your serverless database and data repositories through your VPC instead of internet. So if you want, then you can enable it. At last, you have an option called save configurations. You can see here the color, orange color. So just click on it so that your configurations will be saved. So by using the configurations you provided, so it will take you a bit moment of time, so that next your Redshift serverless will Redshift serverless database will be created in your dashboard. So after some time, you will get a message like this at top. successfully set up Amazon Redshift Serverless. So now whatever the setup you done, that will be set up successfully. You can see under the namespace, you can see whatever the serverless database that you set up that was here, right? Yeah, serverless Redshift service that you set up here that you can able to see here. Now let us see and learn how to query the data. So for this, let us first click on this query data. Then it will show the query editor, that is V2 in the console, right? Yes. So now just click on this option, that is serverless default workload. It will show you the default configurations that Federation user can able to connect to your database. So now just click on create connect, so that so you can see some data is loaded here. Now if you click on this sample data development folder, then it will show you some data. So under this, if you click here, then it can able to provide you some default, it asks you for creating some default data. You can see here it is asking me to create sample database. If I click here to create, then my database sample database is created. Now I'm just clicking it. You can see here after clicking that I got my sample database data. So you can see this is enabled. Now you can see I have some queries as well. If I run it, so that I got some respective outputs. So I have run it. You can see the summary of my output, and even you can see the result run status. 1 out of 1 cell is successfully ran. You can see the summary of the output, and if you click here, then you can even able to see the result. So in this way, you can able to run your query under your Redshift serverless database. So I hope you enjoyed this session. So in this video, you have learned about this Amazon Redshift serverless, and when do you use this Amazon Redshift serverless, and how to create this Amazon Redshift serverless by using console, and what is the billable amount that you will be charged whenever you are using this Amazon Redshift serverless, and where your data is stored, and how your compute is provided in this Amazon Redshift serverless, and how to migrate your data from your cluster to Redshift serverless. So I hope you understood all the things in this video. So I hope this video is contentful. If you feel this video is contentful, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys. Thanks for watching again.